I have to say, this bare bottom turned out okay. Let's see what kind of mischief and trouble we can get ourselves into with the bare bottom. This paint packs quite the punch, so you definitely want to do this as an outside activity. It's pretty important, not extremely important, to get a good clean surface for spraying the paint on. Um, but it's the bottom of the tank and it's not going to get rubbed up on or anything like that, so you don't have to be super, super careful. Um, if you don't clean the sides, it's not a big deal. And as a matter of fact, if you want to, you can actually spray some oil on the sides, and that might make cleanup for the overspray a little bit easier. But I definitely chose to tape off the bottoms, and you see here where I'm putting the tape on is covering all anything that's black. And I used a nice wide, I think it's 1.5 inches, might even be 2 inch wide. No, that's 1.5 inch tape. The wind gets blowing over here. I don't know what's going on with our fall weather. But eh, it's not extremely important that you get it on super clean to the edge and that kind of thing, because it's the bottom of the tank. No big deal. But I just like to practice. I do a lot of painting, so it's just kind of nice to keep the skills up. I'm leaving this outside edge up because I'm going to go ahead and cover that, and I'm going to tape the material that I'm covering it with. Even though I'm outside, I did put a tarp down because I really didn't want any overspray getting onto the sidewalk or patio, or the grass for that matter. Half on the patio and half on the grass right here. Um, yeah, why bother painting the grass? I don't think the grass would appreciate it too much, even though it'd be gone in a week, right? Once you mow it. If you don't want any of the paint getting onto the black part of the tank, you definitely want to push down on the tape and make sure that tape is completely on. Sometimes tape, you might get these little air pockets, and then when you're spraying, the paint might crawl up inside that little air pocket, and you'll end up painting the area that you don't want painted. So here I'm just actually using tarp. It's not really fancy. I had tarp. If you have paper, put paper. If you have cardboard, put cardboard. You can use anything you want. Rags. It's not really that important. It's just a matter of I don't want to get any paint on the sides of the glass because that's the viewing area. I've gone back and forth on whether or not I should paint the back of this tank. And I kind of feel like I'm not going to end up painting the back. I just like the idea of being able to put different backdrops, different colors, experiment with whatever you have lying around the house. I think I have some um, construction paper left over from when the kids were in middle school and elementary school. I might go and try and pull some of that out of the attic and see what happens. I I lean towards the I'm not going to buy another background. I bought a background for the large 150 gallon, but that ended up costing as much as the backdrop would cost for this little 20 gallon. So uh, not too big of a deal to spend $20 on the 150 for a backdrop, but $20 for a 20 gallon? I don't know. That's a little crazy. So here's the spray paint that I used. It's the Rust-Oleum, and you can get whichever color you want. I just got the white. I think it's called Blanco. And I made sure to get the heavy grit. There's one that has like really fine sand, but I don't feel like I didn't feel when I was looking at the product on the shelf that I was really going to be able to see that through the glass. So I thought, let's just get the heavy stuff. And sure enough, now what has it been 4 months later? I'm looking at the bottom of the tank, and I'm really glad that I got the heavy grit because you can kind of see it. All right, so here's the second coat. That was one coat. Oh, and in between coats, you got to wait for it to dry. If you do not wait for this stuff to dry, completely, what ends up happening is when you put the next coat on, it makes the first coat wet again, and it's almost as if you're still putting just one coat down. So make sure it dries. If you're in a hot, dry climate, it's going to dry really fast. If you're in Seattle like I am, it took about 4 hours in the sun for it to dry. So humid outside. Here's a really nice close-up of what it looks like when it goes on. And if you watch close enough, just a moment ago, you'll see that when I spray it, some of the little sand particles, they move because they weren't completely dry yet. Here's the very next day. I waited another 24 hours before I decided to put a real second coat down. And as you can see, the second coat is going on really nice and thick. No messing around. That 4 hours just did not do it. It's been a day, and I'm going to show you what it looks like through the bottom, if I can here. Not too bad. I can kind of still see through it, kind of not. I think I could be happy with that. It'll look a lot better when you put water in it. I was debating whether or not to put a coat of paint in the back there. I think I will, just because at first I was thinking I might want to put an extra coat, a finishing coat, just because you could see through it. But now I'm kind of thinking it's on there pretty good. This is all dust stuff that flies on there from the trees. I was thinking I might put a coat of this stuff on there just to kind of seal it in maybe. But it's got a pretty good seal on it. Feels pretty good. And if I ever wanted to pull it off, it might be easier if I did not put this on. I think I'm just going to leave it like that. Too bad. We're not going to have that reflection, I hope, once the water gets in there. It'll just be a reflection of the water that's on top back down. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Plus, you're going to get all the rocks on there. We'll take it in.
I was wondering why that ball kept getting bigger, and then it hit me.
That was awesome, amazing.
So bad.
Now I gotta take a shower.
Yeah.